Hey, I'm Jacob being Cooley, and when it comes to impactful music or movies or just cultural things for me, the movie that comes to mind for me is The Case for Christ. If you haven't seen it, The Case for Christ is a amazing movie. It's based on the book The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. And in it, you see a man who desperately wants to prove God's inexistence and show his wife, who has become a Christian, that everything she believes in is a lie. And that Jesus was just this okay, holy man type guy that lived, but ultimately he's nothing to be praised or worshipped. Well, the thing is that he's a journalist. And so he decides that from a journalist perspective, he's going to go ahead and start studying and chasing down all these different questions that he has. So he starts reading all this material that he can get a hold of, and he starts interviewing scholars, both atheist, agnostic, and Christian. And he slowly begins to pull pieces over years, the whole time having such huge internal conflict over what he's hearing, what he's reading, what he's seeing, because ultimately he doesn't want God to be real, because that would mean that he would have to do something about it, because he's a man who prides himself on facts and having the collected case when he does any work. And so it becomes an obsession for him. But the reason I align with it and I love it the most is because it was one of the first things that helped draw me towards God. Now, I grew up in church, and I had been many times, and I knew that there had to be something, but I wasn't sure it was God. And what this movie did for me is it gave me a lot of key areas and key points to start. So, I didn't trust the movie. I was like him. I saw it from an outside perspective. And so I began to study and chase down every single thing that he talked about in the movie. Looking up these scholarly research, these scholarly books. I started buying books from all over. I started reading the Bible in Matthew and reading through while I was trying to be objective. But I was also studying other world religions, because I ultimately knew something was true. And who's to say this was just because one guy had? But in the end, just like with this man, we had to bend the knee. And so you see him walk into his house to his wife, and he goes, "I believe." He's like, I don't know what to say, but I believe. And so he gets down on the floor, just like I did, and then begins to pray and just thank God for the evidence, telling him, I don't 100% understand. I'm not sure I ever will. But I know that you're real. I know that you died for me. And I believe in you. I know you rose from the dead. And I want to turn from being who I was, and I want to be somebody new. And so, as the first movie that helped lead me to all the other books and all the other movies, I love it. And I recommend it to anybody. Thanks, guys.